On my wife's birthday, she invited everyone except me. "You're just an ordinary paramedic," she said. "I'm ashamed of you." I walked away quietly. What she didn't know, I was documenting everything. And months later, when the governor called my name on stage, my name is Wyatt Carter. I'm 50 years old, and I've been a paramedic for 26 years. I've pulled people from wrecked cars, brought them back from overdoses, held pressure on wounds that would have killed them in minutes. I've saved more lives than I can count, but apparently that wasn't enough for my wife. The invitation list for Joanna's 48th birthday sat on the kitchen counter for 2 weeks. I watched it grow longer every day. Her friends from the PR firm, their husbands who worked in finance and real estate, the couple who owned that Mediterranean restaurant downtown, everyone who mattered in her world. Everyone except me. 3 days before the party, I finally asked her directly. We were both in the kitchen. She was scrolling through her phone, probably looking at party decorations or wine lists, and I was just getting home from a double shift. "What time do you want me there on Saturday?" I asked. Pouring myself a glass of water, she didn't look up. "You're not coming," I thought I'd misheard. "What?" Joanna set her phone down and turned to face me. Her expression wasn't angry, which somehow made it worse. She looked tired, like I was a problem she'd been avoiding. "Wade, all my friends' husbands are successful," she said calmly. "They're doctors, executives, business owners. You're just an ordinary paramedic." The words hit harder than any punch I'd ever taken. Just an ordinary paramedic. 26 years of running toward danger while others ran away, and this was what it came down to. "I'm ashamed of you," she continued. "I don't want to feel embarrassed on my own birthday, so it's better if you don't come." I stood there holding my glass of water. Still in my work uniform that smelled faintly of antiseptic and emergency. My hands, steady through countless crises, felt unsteady now. "I see," I said quietly. "Thank you for understanding," Joanna replied. Picking her phone back up like we'd just discussed weekend errands. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. What would be the point? You can't force someone to value what you do to see worth in saving strangers' lives when it doesn't come with a corner office or a 6-figure salary. That night, I slept on the couch. Not because she asked, but because lying next to someone who's ashamed of you feels worse than sleeping alone. Saturday came. I watched Joanna get ready, choosing a burgundy dress that probably cost more than I made in a week. She checked her makeup 3 times, adjusted her necklace, sprayed perfume that filled the bedroom with something expensive and floral. "You'll be okay here?" she asked. Grabbing her clutch, "I'll be fine," I said. She kissed my cheek quickly, already mentally at the party, and walked out. I listened to her car pull away, then sat in the silence of our house. The same house we bought 18 years ago, when William was 8 and Lily was just a baby. Back when being a paramedic was something Joanna bragged about. Back when saving lives mattered more than impressing people at dinner parties. I opened my laptop and created a new folder. I named it simply Documentation. Then I typed the date and a single line excluded from wife's birthday. Reason, career embarrassment. I didn't know yet where this would lead. I only knew one thing with absolute certainty. I would never apologize for spending my life saving others. And if that made me an embarrassment, maybe it was time to stop trying to fit into a world that didn't value what I did. The question wasn't whether I was enough. The question was whether I wanted to spend the rest of my life with someone who thought I wasn't. The morning after Joanna's birthday, she came downstairs humming. Actually humming like nothing had happened. She poured herself coffee and scrolled through her phone, smiling at photos from the party. "Everyone had such an amazing time," she said, not looking up. "Brianna posted the most gorgeous group shot. You should see it." I sat at the kitchen table, drinking my own coffee. "I'm sure it's nice." She glanced at me, catching something in my tone. "Don't be like that, Wade." "Like what?" I asked. Sulking, she said. "We discussed this, you understood." "I understood that you're ashamed of what I do for a living," I said calmly. "That's not the same as being okay with it." Joanna sighed and set her phone down. "You're being dramatic." "This isn't personal." How is telling me you're ashamed of me not personal? She waved her hand dismissively. It's about optics, Wade, perception. At our age, people expect a certain level of alignment. Alignment with what? I asked. Success, she said, like it was obvious. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. It was William, our 26-year-old son. Can we talk? Coming over for lunch. William arrived around noon, still wearing his suit from whatever meeting he'd come from. He worked at Sterling Financial Group, downtown. One of those places where everyone wore expensive watches and talked about portfolios over martini lunches. He'd always been ambitious, like his mother. We sat in the living room. Joanna made sandwiches, playing the perfect hostess, though I noticed she kept checking her phone. So, William said, setting down his plate. Mom told me what happened with the birthday party. I looked at Joanna, who suddenly found her sandwich very interesting. She explained that you two are having some differences. William continued carefully. About career expectations, lifestyle alignment. Career expectations, I repeated. Is that what we're calling it now? William shifted. Dad, I respect what you do, I really do. But Mom has a point. Those words landed harder than I expected. Go on. Been a paramedic for 26 years, he said. Same position, same salary range, no upward mobility. He hesitated. Mom has worked really hard to build her career. She networks. She maintains relationships, William said. She's created a certain image for our family. And when your career doesn't match that level of ambition, it creates tension. Ambition, I repeated quietly. I save people's lives, William. I brought a 6-year-old back from cardiac arrest last week. Is that not ambitious enough? William looked uncomfortable. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? I asked. He hesitated, then finally said what he'd clearly come to say. Mom's right, Dad, you could have done more. You could have become a supervisor, gone into hospital administration, gotten an advanced degree. Instead, you stayed in the field. You chose to stay small. Stayed small, my own son, saying those words to my face. I'm not trying to hurt you, William added quickly. But if you're honest with yourself, you know it's true. You settled, and now Mom's paying the price socially. Joanna reached over and touched William's hand. Thank you for being honest, sweetheart. Your father needs to hear this. I looked at the two of them, united in judgment. My wife, whom I'd supported through graduate school while working double shifts. My son, whose college education I'd helped pay for by driving an ambulance through some of the worst neighborhoods in the state. I see, I said, standing up. Is there anything else I need to hear? William glanced at his mother, then back at me. Just that maybe it's time to think about what Mom needs for a change. What would make her happy? What would make her proud instead of embarrassed? I nodded slowly. I'll keep that in mind. After William left, Joanna turned to me with something like satisfaction in her eyes. See. Even your own son understands. This is just me being unreasonable. I didn't answer. I went upstairs to the guest room and opened my laptop. I added a new entry to my documentation folder. Son William sides with mother. State's father chose to stay small by remaining in field work. Mother pleased by this support. Then I opened a new document. I titled it Financial Records and began gathering information I should have been tracking all along. Credit card statements, bank records, retirement accounts, because if my own son thought I'd stayed small, I wanted to understand exactly how large my wife's ambitions had grown and who had been paying for them. It took me 3 days to find it. 3 days of combing through statements while Joanna was at work. What I found made my stomach turn. A Visa card I didn't recognize. Opened 2 years ago in my name, using my social security number. Current balance, $47,000. The dollars charges told their own story. Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, day spas, high-end restaurants. All places Joanna frequented with her PR friends. I sat at the kitchen table Tuesday morning, the statement spread out in front of me, when my phone buzzed. It was Lily, our 19-year-old daughter in Boulder. Dad, can you call me? It's important, I called immediately. Lily, everything okay? Not really, she said. Her voice was tight. I got an email from the financial aid office. They're saying there's an issue with my spring tuition payment, that the money from my college fund didn't come through. My blood went cold. What do you mean it didn't come through? The fund you and Mom set up when I was born, she said. It was supposed to cover all 4 years, but they're saying the account's almost empty. Dad, there's only $8,000 left. There should be over 60,000. I closed my eyes. Let me look into it. Don't worry about this, sweetheart. After I hung up, I logged into the college savings account. Lily was right. The balance was $8,247. I pulled up the transaction history. Over the past 3 years, there had been regular withdrawals, $5,000 here, $7,500 there. Every transfer went to an account I recognized. Joanna's personal checking. I downloaded everything, printed it, and added it to my documentation folder. That evening, when Joanna came home, I was waiting in the living room with the credit card statement and the college fund records. We need to talk, I said. She set down her bag, immediately defensive. About what? I held up the Visa statement. About this credit card you opened in my name, the one with $47,000 in debt that I knew nothing about. Her face went pale, then flushed. I can explain. And this, I continued, holding up the college fund records. Lily's tuition money, the money we saved for 19 years. You've been taking it for what, Joanna? Designer clothes. Spa treatments. I borrowed it, she said quickly. I was going to pay it back. Borrowed, I repeated. You stole from our daughter's education fund and opened credit cards in my name without telling me. That's not borrowing, that's fraud. Her expression shifted from defensive to angry. Don't you dare judge me. Do you know what it costs to maintain the lifestyle my career requires? To look the part at events and meetings. You think those clients want to work with someone who shops at Target? So you stole from Lily, I said flatly. I invested in our family's future, she shot back. In opportunities your salary could never provide. Someone had to think bigger than just getting by month to month. Getting by, I said quietly. Is that what you call saving people's lives? I call it staying exactly where you started 26 years ago, Joanna said. While I've been building something that actually matters. I stood up, gathering the papers. Lily needs $52,000 for the rest of her tuition. You're going to replace what you took. With what money? She laughed bitterly. You expect me to magic it out of thin air? Not my problem, I said. You took it, you fix it. Or I take these documents to a lawyer, and we start talking about financial fraud and identity theft. Her face went white. I didn't wait for a response. I walked upstairs and called Lily. Sweetheart, your tuition will be covered. I promise. Your mother and I are handling it. Dad, what's going on? She asked. Mom's been acting strange. And I saw her birthday photos. You weren't in any of them. We're working through some things, I said carefully. You focus on school. I've got this. After we hung up, I started researching divorce attorneys, not because I'd decided anything yet, but because when someone you trust for 23 years turns out to be a stranger, you need to know your options. Thursday's shift was routine until 9:47 a.m. Overdose call. A 23-year-old male, no pulse. We arrived in 6 minutes. I ran compressions while my partner administered naloxone. First dose, nothing. Second, nothing. Third, he gasped back to life. His mother collapsed crying. As we loaded him up, she grabbed my arm. You saved my son's life. Back at the station, my partner said quietly. That kid gets decades more life because you didn't give up. I thought of Joanna's words, something that actually matters. That afternoon, Captain Henderson called me in. The hospital had commended my fieldwork, and he offered me a new role, half paramedic, half leading a county outreach program teaching first aid and overdose response. Small pay bump. Big visibility. When I told Joanna, she finally looked interested. Does it pay more? Yes. Then why take it? Because I'm done apologizing for what I do, I said. 2 weeks later, Joanna hosted a dinner party for high-profile clients. She asked me to come, but not to talk about my work. Just be pleasant. One guest, Douglas Petton, a wealthy client, kept making polite digs about my career and pay. Joanna laughed along. After dinner, he sat too close to her, flirting openly. She encouraged it. When he invited her to a luxury event and casually included me if I was available, Joanna lit up. I excused myself and went upstairs. No one noticed. Later that night, I confronted her. She dismissed it as networking and accused me of being jealous. "He's an important client," she said. "If you can't handle me having professional relationships with successful men, that's your insecurity." I looked at her and realized something clearly for the first time. She didn't just look down on my work, she no longer respected me at all. She went into the bathroom and closed the door. I opened my laptop and added another entry to my documentation folder. Wife openly flirted with wealthy client Douglas Petton in our home. Physical contact, excessive attention, invitation to exclusive event. Dismissive of concerns, I was building a case. I didn't know yet what I'd do with it, but every piece of evidence felt necessary. The letter arrived on a Tuesday. Official letterhead, Jefferson County seal. I opened it by the mailbox. Still in uniform after a night shift. "You have been selected to receive the Jefferson County Emergency Services Excellence Award for 26 years of service, and your role in establishing the community First Response Education Program. The governor would present it. Media would attend. When I showed Joanna the letter, her reaction shifted from surprise to calculation. "This is significant," she said. "I'll need a new dress. We should think about who to invite." "This is good visibility." "Visibility," I repeated. "This is good for both of us," she said. "For once, your career is generating attention." "You told me you were ashamed of me," I replied. "Now there's an award and suddenly you care." Being bitter, she said. "People will expect me there." "You can come," I said. "But don't pretend this changes anything." The county PR office called for interviews. They wanted to include my family. I told them I'd get back to them. 2 weeks before the ceremony, the article ran, "Local paramedic honored for 26 years of life-saving service." Joanna was suddenly proud, wanted to move past everything. I stopped her. "This award isn't redemption for you," I said. "It's recognition for work I've always done, work you only value now because others do." Lily came home for spring break. She noticed the tension immediately. "Dad, she didn't invite you to her birthday," she said. "That's not working through things. That's giving up." At dinner, Joanna talked excitedly about the ceremony and photos. Lily cut in quietly. "You're excited because it makes you look good. Not because you're proud of him." The next morning, Lily showed me a recording. She overheard Joanna on the phone. "He doesn't suspect anything. The award makes everything look stable. After the ceremony, we'll talk about next steps." Douglas's name was mentioned. Laughing, planning, I felt sick. That afternoon, I met with an attorney. I brought everything: financial records, credit cards, college fund withdrawals, documentation, and the recording. "You have strong grounds," she said. "Financial fraud, identity theft, possible adultery. The recording is especially damaging." "What are my options?" I asked. She explained them: file now or wait and be strategic. And for the first time in months, I felt something close to control. The attorney explained that the awards ceremony could work in my favor: public recognition, media coverage, and community standing would establish me as the sympathetic party if things turned ugly. With the fraud Joanna committed, I could pursue criminal charges, but I told her I just wanted out. "Dignity doesn't mean being a doormat," she said. "It means protecting yourself at the right moment." I decided to wait until after the ceremony.